afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I am joining you from Alpharetta, Georgia, United States of America, as is my buddy Hindu Man. We're going to get into some exciting console action.
Well, I've been away for quite a while, so I've only seen a little bit of the console action lately, but we do have a really, really good game for you today. First versus third is going to be second up, but we do also have Kingdom Hearts, the top that's supposed to be playing as well today.
Right, we've got two matches for you, as is every Monday. Elevate versus Kingdom Esports. They are number 4 and number 6, and then over on the still on the North American side, Most Wanted, 9-1. They're going to be heading up against SoaR, which should be a very exciting matchup.
And I'm very looking forward to that one. But first of all, obviously, we do have the Kingdom Hearts match that was scheduled for now.
All right. First of all, it's just Kingdom Esports.
Kingdom Hearts.
It's not Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. I've got them Hearts now.
I laughed at you the first time.
I didn't realize I'd done it the first time. The second time I went, yeah, they're definitely not called Kingdom Hearts, are they? But they are now.
Okay, so
They're Kingdom in my heart.
Kingdom and Elevate, unfortunately, will not be going forward. We're going to release a statement online, but basically, Kingdom, unfortunately, could not field the full roster, so they must relinquish the win for this game. That'll be a forfeiture. So 2-0 over to Elevate as they move up just a little bit in the standings. But SoaR and Most Wanted, I mean, it's really, if I'm honest, Hindu, this is the game I was gearing up for anyway.
Oh, for sure. For a Monday evening, what a great way to start, well, to have things start off and end, I guess, at the end of the day now as well, with SoaR versus Most Wanted. Last time they played in week 2, and it was Most Wanted that found the 2-0. Now, I've not been around for a few weeks in the console scene. So, tell me, why are Most Wanted so good, and where's SoaR slipped from?
So, I honestly, not a lot of people can tell you why Most Wanted is so good. 9 wins and only a single loss. This group was supposed to be probably number 3. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people come into this console league and take a look at what happened with UMG and MLG and everything in the past and go, all right, Eager and SoaR, you guys are the lockdown daddies, number 1 and number 2, and then number 3, 4. There's some flex room.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was going to be Eager and SoaR top 2, easy. Which way? Probably Eager because of how qualifications went for this. But then looking at it now, Most Wanted just come out of nowhere.
They look very, very strong. Cloud plays a mid lane that is both a facilitator and sort of, he can turn up and be a hard carry. There's a lot of strong people on this Most Wanted team. I think you got to look at Transonics in that hunter role, one of the Xbox natives, and then of course Wolves, the solo laner, a person that came in really. He was playing with Juice once upon a time, and everybody was sort of talking about him being the number 1 player on Xbox. Now I think a lot of the talent has sort of risen up, and now Wolves is mixed in with the rest of the community. But there's a lot of solid talent on this Most Wanted team for sure.
I'm excited for picks and bans then, just to get into it, to see exactly how these two teams would shape up, especially with Uzzy in the solo lane for SoaR. I've not seen him really play so far. And up against Wolves, you know, like we can left this SoaR team to go back to the SPL after qualifications happened. And then obviously Chapo was the solo lane and a big all-star name to talk about. He did so well dominating for them, but now he's in the jungle again.
And having him back in the jungle, especially after Weekend being on the team, showing him the ropes a little bit, really brings the squad together. And togetherness is really the word that we're going to be using a lot here. We saw SoaR play earlier in the week, and this used to be sort of the Chapo show, right? Then it was the Chapo and Aggro show. And don't get me wrong, those two are very much your superstars on this squad, but the other people have really risen to the moment.
Well, you mentioned Aggro in that list too, and you can see Most Wanted going to ban away Yarnish because he's got a very low ban ratio overall, only 25% in the SCL. However, coming up against SoaR, I guess they just want to take away that comfort pick from Aggro in the mid lane.
You absolutely have to, Hindu Man. Aggro plays Giannis very similarly to, I want to reference Chaos on the PC side. He's very aggressive and can nail these ridiculous ultimates while at the same time still being a facilitator and allowing his teammates to get in and out of trouble.
Well, Matt Koiz here looking in Athena straight away for that option. More than likely going to be in the support role, so I'm saying Koiz there. But SoaR, meanwhile, they're going to give Uzzy a prime pick very early on in Ravana. Obviously, Ravana, very, very lane dominant, very, very easy to control the lane in the early stages. Transitions well to the mid and late game, does what he needs to do, but he's very dominant in the laning phase, which allows the jungler to either help pressure that lane further, or even just rotate and leave him alone and have no worries.
Same story in the mid lane with Raijin along the way. He's going to struggle a little bit. Pretty much never. Even in the early game, Raijin doesn't have a strong early game, but depending on who winds up in the jungle with SoaR, there's a nice little combination where the early game that Raijin doesn't have his best moments in, Chapo will be able to sort of pick up the pace.
I mean, we mentioned early game on Raijin too. I mean, his wave clear is not too bad. It's not ISIS level, but it's still pretty damn good for clearing out the wave and playing relatively safe overall there. And then once the jungler comes along, everything's good. Most Wanted, though, going to lock in the Nemesis and the Ho Yi as well. So priority for that duo lane of Most Wanted here. They really want to get a dominant performance here early especially for Transonics and Matt Koiz up against Brochacho and Keegs.
Which I like this a lot. Most Wanted pick up the Nemesis as the Awilix is picked up for SoaR, and I'll touch upon that in a moment. But the Nemesis in the jungle for Most Wanted is very fitting because xCynosurex is not this, especially in juxtaposition to Chapo, not this hyper-aggressive, go-for-the-kills player. He's going to be assisting his team to get those kills. Whereas on the other side with Awilix, this is really Chapo's got a couple of gods, but Awilix is one of his most dirtiest tools.
High mobility, early game with Feather Step, you can 100 to 0 someone if you catch him in the right situation as well. And not only that, that Hou-Yi pick also now has trouble against Awilix. If Awilix comes over for the gank, Hou-Yi tries to leap away, immediately pulled out of the sky every single time is the opportunity for them. So already an answer to what Most Wanted of running the duo lane from the jungle on its own.
Awilix also brings a lot of interesting wave clear to the mid lane. A lot of mages in the mid, what happens is they'll be able to clear a little bit and then just need one extra shot to get everything down. What Awilix can do is can throw the bowling ball through the lane, and that'll help out a lot of what Raijin wants to do.
Do you like the Sobek bang coming out there? As well as the Geb, both of those have knockups and can cause displacement. Causing displacement allows Awilix, like we said a little bit earlier, to find those pulls and potentially push people into positions where Raijin can just burst through with damage.
The Sobek, absolutely. I love the Sobek band. Sobek is one of the more potent gods right now. We all know how much I love him, but especially when holding hands with Awilix, it's just devastating. Geb, on the other hand, I'm not in love with this band in general, but keep in mind that it's Brochacho's Geb, and Geb is a character that Brochacho has been playing for a long time.
Well, Brochacho here, I can see Comeback Corner available for him potentially. Could go for the Ares route, which we've seen a lot of him out of before.
Yep.
Those are the two that could potentially see here. What will it be? Those could be Xing 10. Knockups again available in this one. The up-down route is going to be so vital and allow for Awilix to find the combos. And when you think about Cupid here as well, Cupid is a beads burner, a purification burner every single time. That Fields of Love is perfect, especially when people don't have leaps to get out of it either.
Yeah, Cupid on KeegsMate and then Xing. Brochacho really made his name on, I'd say Sun Wukong, but Ares just as much.
Yeah.
And Xing has a lot of similarities to Ares, just to me in terms of play style. And seeing Brochacho wind up on this Xing, this is a character that very much fits this player. And just coming out of it, SoaR with this lineup, I am very confident in their draft right now.
I don't see any real aggression coming out from either team here. There's more wall placements there at the start of the game, and both teams went for the same option here. But it did go, I want to say, Most Wanted's favor in terms of wall placements here, as they did get that one over the red buff start, so the speed buff start there, just so they get full vision at the beginning of the game.
XynoSure gets first hit of the match. He'll go ahead and press on back, but nothing really of any consequence, as all the players should be able to heal up.
So laning phase here, I'm just looking at all the teams and just seeing what we're going to go through. Hou-Yi alongside the Athena up against the Cupid Xing 10. Well, Golden Bow is still available at the moment until the next patch hits over on console. So in that case, well, the laning phase is very, very good for Cupid here. Cupid very good at boxing, as is Hou-Yi, but Hou-Yi a little bit late to run in the game. Cupid at level 5, there's all-in potential available there. And especially with a Xing 10 alongside it, you burn that purification once, or you're going to have a bad time getting away from the Fields of Love that could follow up afterwards.
And don't forget about the jungle gang. Hou-Yi has one of the most exploitable jumps when it comes to Awilix's ultimate. He's got to stay up there in the air for a moment, so Awilix can definitely get the gank when it comes on through. So a lot of issues for Transonics to deal with over there on the Hou-Yi, but not really anything to worry about if you're a fan of Most Wanted. Transonics has really proven to be one of the best.
Well, if you're Most Wanted right now and you're looking at Clow in the mid lane, because when you look at the composition from the jungle mid perspectives from each team, Clow is all the real wave clear they're going to have coming out from the side of Most Wanted early on. Nemesis, not so much, but meanwhile, across the way, SoaR, they've got relatively equal. Together, they'll combine nicely to clear up the wave nice and quick. So Isis has to be on point early game to get these rotations off.
Which is totally not a problem. That's why we see this combination. A number of times we see the Nemesis go hand in hand with a number of gods, and honestly, when you see Nemesis next to a Zeus or Nemesis next to a god that really doesn't come on till later game, that team, well, we've seen them lose a majority of the time.
That's Spirit Ball.
Isis is as early game as they come. Nemesis is the opposite, and so you combine that two, and you wind up with good pressure.
XCynosurex nearly played that absolutely perfectly there. I love the double dash in. He did go for the damage follow-up, which I would have preferred him just to wait, because he knew that Thunder Crash was going to come out from aggro there. Just force him to burn mana, burn his escape, and have to fall back and wait safely for his regeneration of his potions to come through.
Aggro usually, I'm
Those
usually a
Spirit Balls,
little bit,
man!
Ooh, a couple more hits. And the dash away. And that right there is what I was about to talk about, Hindu Man. Aggro, we're used to seeing him on, I want to say safer gods. And this Raijin pick is definitely a deviation from what we're used to seeing out of aggro. So definitely have to see how well he can either adjust to this playstyle or show us how much he's been practicing.
Well, this is more most wanted, banning away the Giannis from him. You were saying like he goes to the safe side. God, Giannis, the prime example of that. Very safe in the mid lane, can sit very far back, get damage off, and avoid a lot of damage himself. But on this Raijin, a little bit harder to escape. Have to predict and actually jump away before the damage hits. Otherwise, you will get stunned during the thunder crash as you're trying to teleport through.
A little bit of an invade coming out here. ScYnoSure and Isis will go ahead and steal these back harps, and that right there is mid pressure.
Could be a pinch, though, coming out from SoaR, though, but Clow has just hit level 5 a little bit quicker than everybody else. So with Clow having that level 5, they've got to respect that a little bit more with no support rotations just yet. Could be an interesting one in the jungle here.
Yeah, ScYnoSure is the one that's going to be in trouble, separated from his mid laner, pops the health potion after being brought down to about 45% HP. And then just joins back in the mid.
Don't really get that trade. That trade was very, very interesting between both of them. Not sure what they were going for as we see Athena under a lot of pressure here. Brochacho going to keep going in. Brochacho could find the kill here, potentially one more hit, but a good ricochet from Transonics. Keep him alive.
Very important stun right there, Hindu. If Brochacho doesn't get stunned, Brochacho finds the kill with basic attacks.
Yeah, and that's what all it would have been. Just auto him down, find the pickup, and good play from Transonics to support his support there, if anything else.
Now here's a lane we haven't really spoken about much. Wolves taking on Uzzy here. You've got the Vamana versus the Ravana. A pretty standard lane that we do see from time to time.
And what you'll see mainly is that mid-game Vamana really comes online. Vamana can win that lane against a Ravana if you know how to play it right and you get a good advantage. But for the most part, it should predominantly be favorable for Uzzy in the early stages. And then you're looking at team fights from both of them. I feel Wolves, as the team fight goes on, has a lot more chase potential, a lot more kill and peel potential on the front side, whereas more of a nuisance from Uzzy. But in mid lane,
ultimate coming out from the Raijin, but it's shut down as soon as it turns on. ScYnoSure with the first blood going the way of most wanted esports, but a quick answer back as Chapo makes the rotation, turns up in the mid lane, activates the ultimate, and puts his opponent in the ground. So mid for mid, aggro falls down first, and now ScYnoSure going to be looked at and running away. Different story though, as Brochacho turns
Wolves,
to isolate
Wolves. Looking
Wolves.
for the kill, but immediately over the wall with Suku he goes, and Wolves will disengage himself as well. Good little turnaround play from both of them. And I was going to stay at the beginning of that engagement. Was very confused why we didn't see Koiz come straight over with Athena. But it's because he was forced out of experience a little bit early on from that engage. Hadn't hit 5, so he couldn't ult across just yet. Ooh.
Big play right there, and also another one in the solo lane. Uzzy shows up and shuts down Wolves right as the ultimate gets activated, so no healing done just yet.
And that was more Wolves actually recognizing that he went back to lane there with low health after trying to contest and find that pick on to ElAggro in the jungle. Didn't find it, goes back to lane, and immediately Uzzy recognizes that, abuses the situation, picks himself up a kill, which you want early as Ravana.
Exactly, just goes right on in there because you touched upon it earlier. Vamana gets to a point where level 7, level 8, especially with that bluestone, you hit the wave once and it goes away. Ravana has to be much more involved, punching. So by being able to get a little bit of an advantage in lane as far as experience is concerned, that's a much better look if you're the Ravana.
When you actually look at the Vamana as well, Wolves here didn't go for the Umbrella rank, which is one of the better ways of wave clearing from distance and safety. He's actually gone for the Armored Umbrella max here, and that will give him a big burst of spike of damage very, very quickly, which can clear the wave almost in one with the Bluestone Pendant, as you can see.
Yep.
And it can people can underestimate how much damage you've got if you expect to have that Umbrella rank online instead for the double tap.
Yeah, it's really what you're looking for there. Is just a burst out of Wolves. He's going to take the safe way back to mid lane. He sees a rotation coming in, and he wants to be on the backside. Ultimate out of Brochacho, grabs 3, stuck in the ultimate from Raijin as well, but aggro takes a whole chunk of damage, forced out. Brochacho gets credit for ScYnoSure. Everybody on Most Wanted on the retreat, including Wolves, who joined the party. What an excellent ultimate out of Brochacho.
All Brochacho in that whole engagement. Picks up 3. You can actually see the surprise on Aggro's face on the Raijin there, where he's like, hang on a minute, you've got 3 and none of them are purified out of that? No, they've not got purification. So Aggro ults a little bit later than you would like to have seen. It could have been even cleaner than that, but they do find 1 kill. As now over in the right-hand side of things, Wolves has to pop the ultimate as you see some more aggression coming out from Chapo here. Get a little bit aggressive there.
That'll heal Wolves up just a little bit, about 75% HP in total. But now he's going to take a giant chunk from Ravana. Look at the damage that Uzzy's able to dish out towards Wolves.
So at the moment, you can see the goal difference between the two teams absolutely even though it's a 3-1 lead for SoaR. Most Wanted did pick up the first blood. And experience-wise, well, as you can see on the actual players here between the two, it's relatively even still, even though, like I said, there's a 3-1 lead in kills.
And really what it comes down to is just the big attention to the small stuff when you whether you're getting your farm from your jungle camps like we just saw right there, or these elementals that SoaR have gotten virtually every single rotation of so far.
Yeah, they didn't get the first one at the beginning of the game. Most Wanted with their first, but since then, SoaR have been really looking for these over again. And now they're expecting Most Wanted to come over for these, so they're waiting in the jungle around the corner. And instead, they will take these Raijin Harpies though free, as Brochacho in mid lane is dealing, keeping them all busy from coming over here.
Yeah, I like that play. They were waiting there to see if the rotation was going to come, and then as soon as the lane marches up to make sure that they don't lose any experience, that's when we see SoaR get rid of their plan and just go right back to farming, ensuring that, hey, if this happens, we'll grab it, but if not, we don't want to miss any experience in looking for a maybe. We might get this gank. We'll definitely get this wave.
Well, left Harpies are about to spawn as we're shooting with Transonics, trying to take down his boars here. Was delayed a little bit on taking these just because of the way we saw the aggression from Keegs, but mid lane again. There's the whirlwind under the tower one more time. The poly's on point. The damage from aggro wasn't perfect, but it's still enough for the kill on Koiz.
So much displacement. You see the toss out of the washing machine right into the pull from Awilix. You're all of a sudden in front of the tower to behind the tier 1 tower. That Athena was dead 7 ways till Sunday.
Look at this idea, though. They were thinking about the Gold Fury here, knowing Transonics would go back as well. Difference is, though, it's an Athena. Athena, in the early stages, she will be respawn quite quickly. Your respawn time's not so long, and she's got that global up to come back in. They had to respect that, and they do, and just head back to farming instead.
So because of that, 8 minutes in, we pretty much have a tie here, folks. Teams separated by about 500 gold, give or take, but really nothing to shake a stick at. It's really all about the future of this game and where these compositions are going. SoaR has a number of kills above Most Wanted, so if you're rooting for SoaR, really you want to look at, again, ElChapo.
Look at Uzzy right now, because he was looking for the blue buff that just got stolen by Wolves on his side, but immediately, after he's pushed the wave out there, immediately the rotation from XCynosurex from Most Wanted comes over to support, just in case he goes for the cheeky blue invade and steal. And if that happens, he gets pinched himself instead. And in the end, it would have gone in the way of Most Wanted. So in the end, Wolves gets an advantage in the lane just by stealing that blue.
Exactly. So you see a lot of cheekiness going on here in the jungle and whatnot. And as I said, if you're a SoaR fan, this is who you want to be looking at. The jungler right now has 2 kills, basically half of what SoaR has been able to deliver, and an assist to his name as well. So certainly been an integral part to these kills. And Chapo is the guy that's going to bring you from the early game to the mid game, and then hope that aggro can hang on to really bring the damage towards the late game.
Well, since we saw that first blood go off of Most Wanted here, it's all been SoaR on the aggression every single time, and most of that has led from Brochacho over in the support role, just rotating mid, finding these big ultimates multiple times onto targets that guarantee the kill for his team, bringing them under the tower every time. And the positioning from Chapo on the Awilix as well is just 100% guaranteed the ult.
And that's what we're seeing, not just today, but also last week or earlier in this week, Hindu, is just the combination of Brochacho, aggro, and Chapo are just, they're so on point. And KeegsMate and Uzzy have really started to join this conversation where these combination stuns, the CC chains, the ultimate on top of ultimate, they just look so clean.
I mean, in the game of Smite and on team focus, you need that trio. You need your jungle, support, and your mid laner to all be on the same page and have very good communication. Yes, the solo and Hunter, they need some communication. For example, Hunter needs to get on with the support very well in the laning phase in the early stages. The jungler and solo need to get on in the early stages of clearing out the waves. But after that, they're not really reliant on the teammates.
It's more about the individual plays for the moment. Now, it's about the team. Most Wanted with a fantastic opportunity. Ultimate of Ice is going to come down and mitigate a lot of what aggro has to deal. But Uzzy's on the backside, stunned for the moment, still has sprint, still gets the kill. Brochacho gets credit for Clowwwwww. Turns around and takes out the support. It's a 1-for-1, but Matt Koiz very low, dashes away. Uzzy looking for the root. Does he have it available? Looks like yes. Finds a punch, one more, and he's down. Matt Koiz takes a nap, and Uzzy's going to walk in the opposite direction. No problem. And Wolves turns it around. No kill, but now he's looking towards the mage. Knockup not going to find it. Ultimate out. And that winds up being a 2-for-2 trade.
Bit of a messy fight, though, from both teams there, mainly from the side of Most Wanted here. They left Clow alone, having to deal with being hit constantly by Wolves in the back, by Uzzy in the back of the head, just punching him over and over again. No pressure from his team to support him. They left him alone and isolated, where they were looking for a killer onto the support player of SoaR. You do that, you lose your damage dealer. You're only really using your front line for that. You want to try and protect that back line. If you do, that fight could have gone differently either way.
It's definitely possible. Clow did what he could, and I agree. If Clow is kept alive for a little bit longer, We might see a different exchange going the way of Most Wanted Esports. But at the end of the day, it's a 2 for 2. Everything comes up even. And again, despite the kill count being separate, all teams even. There's a great ultimate from Cupid.
It was a great ultimate. Now the follow-up is even there too. Brochacho credited for the kill. Not really who you would like that to have gone to, though. He would have been better on Keegs at this stage of the game, especially with Brochacho already having 2 kills to his name before that one. But a very good execution from SoaR. Good rotation from Keegs. He lost almost a wave of experience there to the tower, but it still worked out for him on that rotation to get his team further ahead.
Yeah, he gets the assist going on there as well. Level 13 to Transonics 14, but look, people dancing around the Gold Fury.
It's just about ward wars over and over again, especially with Cloud being dead on the ISIS. If they would have managed to find an opportunity here, so they could have looked for it. They still have enough burst damage out of, obviously, those gods they've got with Raijin and the Cupid.
Yep.
Won't take too long to bring down a Gold Fury, and with Cloud not there with that Spirit Ball and Circle of Protection, then the Gold Fury could die very quick.
Sounds about right. There's just a lot of damage across the board right now this is really sort of like the mid game, the early mid game. So we're going to see a lot of these gods that weren't really effective early on come into play.
You know, I mentioned about Keegs earlier on, KeegsMate on this Cupid. He did well for the rotation, and it did help his team out. But if you look at the gold difference between the two, it's starting to develop a little bit here. It's about 200-300 gold between the hunters. It's not something you're generally used to, especially in fairness with actually seeing a Hou Yi versus a Cupid. It should be Cupid pushing that one in a little bit earlier than a Hou Yi.
A little bit, given the golden bow situation. But as you said, with the 300 gold in the way of Transonics, he's been able to have that soul leader for a while, whereas Keegs just picks it up.
Yeah, so he's going to have to continue to stag that one up eventually. And now at the moment, Most Wanted, they're around the Gold Fury, just getting ward control here as Wolves makes a good rotation to contest and just keep him busy for a moment or two. But they've not got time to really look for this Gold Fury just yet, Most Wanted.
Good stun from Cloud, a little bit of follow-up damage, but nothing too hard, as that would have been surely a bad spot. Keegs throws another perfect ultimate down.
And that was perfect because now they force Purification once again onto Clow. Immediately now, keep an eye on Brochacho because he will go in deep looking for Clow again. And if he can find that ultimate, they can find the pick again on the ISIS.
I almost thought we heard 2 sets of Purification, but it's just Clow. So the ISIS is definitely going to be one of the focus targets for SoaR as they head into Most Wanted looking for their next opportunity.
Love the ward placement from Wolves there on this right-hand side. You can see him recalling the Vamana there behind the tier 1 tower. Both the solo lane is proxy farming now, but that ward near the speed buff just gives him an idea of if he's going to get rotated on. Right. Is he going to get himself caught out of position, and does he need to ult to run away or teleport even?
There's a couple of options, essentially. Gotta have your options, right?
You gotta have options. If you don't have options, then you've just got to do what you got to do. You get no options.
Well, this is what we're going to see over here in the mid lane. 4-on-2. Definite huge advantage for SoaR. They see it, they smell it, and they unleash the damage. Raijin throws everything down the hallway. Koiz gets in trouble, but the flank from Wolves doesn't look like it's going to be too strong.
Well, he did teleport in, pops the big baby early, but look at SoaR. They're just going to disperse away from the situation. Like, no, we don't need to fight you. We found the pick. We got Koiz. Everything's good. We'll take the win.
And that is the maturation of SoaR that I've been talking about for a week now, is they're able to take what they get, very disciplined now, where, all right, you know what, Wolves, that's not a fight we want.
And that's exactly what they found. And they also get the teleport out of Wolves. Take that into account too. Not only did they get away from the situation for a pick, they got teleport off of Wolves for free. I'm not sure if Uzzy's teleport is available still, but if it is, keep an eye out for them looking for the Gold Fury very early.
That's something that surprises me so far, Hindu. We haven't seen that Gold Fury just yet.
It's a dangerous one, though. I mean, there's Raijin and there's an ISIS. Both those have very good secure as old Cloud. Once again, surrounded and in trouble. XCynosurex can't do too much on his own here to support, but he slows them down enough to actually dissuade them from going all in for the kill on Cloud.
Cloud finds a hole through track, just gets out of there. That looked like Cloud was dead to rights every way till Thursday, and unfortunately for SoaR and their fans, was just able to pretty much walk out.
Chapo's going to be a little bit careful of Wolves here. He does have the rotation of Uzzy coming back to lane, but has to jump off the wall. Wolves overcommitting here, looking to go aggressive still, but maybe he chooses the farm here. He should have an idea that Uzzy was coming back to lane, and he does, so good idea not to chase. He just pokes out Chapo a little bit, which is quite smart.
Yeah, just get a little bit of farm. He's not going to get the kill, and more importantly, he knows he's not going to get killed by that lone Awilix just yet, so the Vamana player is able to just sort of walk around, get a wave, and then head on home.
I'd like to see Koiz a little bit more aggressive at the moment. I mean, I've seen him do 1 or 2 taunts here. Yes, he's been behind because he's been focused a little bit in these fights, but he's still got to go in and find these taunts. He's got to try and taunt, hit a couple of multiple people, put the pressure on them, and then make them force purification because it sets up for more.
Exactly. We're seeing that number of times, and that's why we're getting on both sides of the coin. That's why we're getting Brochacho ultimates, and also that's why we're getting Matt Koiz taunts, is because of the ability on both teams to really shred those purifications.
Well, farming off at 16 minutes in. Still no Gold Fury, as you said, but like I was going to mention, Isis, ultimate, very, very good at securing. Raijin ultimate, good at securing too. Both of these teams have very good Gold Fury control across the whole team, not just the mid laners. So you can't really look at it unless you get a clean win, a clean victory, and a clean zone of control set up before you can even attempt it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just flat out looking at Circle of Protection from Isis and Fields of Love from the Cupid. Both are extremely powerful tools.
You got Hoyi's Sons as well. Yep. You've also got Raijin's ultimate that you can do through the wall on top of that. Plenty of things that can actually bring this one down. Even Athena ultimate could come into play as well. Yeah,
just a large amount of, well, tools.
Tools to control the Gold Fury.
Just tools in general. Gold Fury also translates over to Fire Giant and anything else you want to contest, whether it be buffs or otherwise.
I am a little bit surprised here that they're not going to aggressive yet. SoaR looking for this Gold Fury, knowing that Teleport was available for Uzzy to use. But now with Transonics being forced out, that was a blink in, I believe, or a TP.
I really enjoyed that play right there. You saw the flank from KeegsMate, and that allowed him to get the Heart Bomb on one target, misses it on the second, and that's why xCynosurex is able to take out Chapo. No problem. 1 kill to none, as SoaR are on the bad side of this team fight.
Yeah, they are on the bad side because now Most Wanted also have TP available on top of that for Wolves on this Vamana. So they could just disengage this if they want to, but now Wolves going aggressive still, trying to create a bit of a zone, keep them busy, as it looks like Transonics going to pull this Gold Fury on his own though, so he's taking a lot of free poke.
Yeah, a lot of poke is put lightly into. He's going to be poked all the way down, and there's some help from the teammates. Everybody going to show up. Gold Fury does go the way of Most Wanted, so the team that starts it secures it. Very good play for M-Dubs. And that's going to bring them away from the team fight and ahead by 2,000.
Transonics could be under pressure here, especially without having a jump available. Going to juke back to his team, though. Very important for him to do so. If he didn't juke back, I think we could have seen Uzzy continue chasing.
Yeah.
But going back to 3 members, Uzzy's like, no, I'm good. Still, though, Wolves being aggressive on his own now.
Yeah, and he's got the dash available, so the Vamana will be safe and sound all the way in the mid lane already. But the double taunt from Koiz is going to be golden. Ultimate out of XynoSure just to force out the Sank. And Cupid's got no other options, forced to go on back home.
Bit unfortunate there. Saw the ricochet go off from Transonics, but the mark hadn't landed yet, so the stun did not follow up to go through. Otherwise, they could have potentially found a kill on one of those targets. Did get, like you said, though, a Sanctuary, I believe, in that engagement.
Yeah, Keegs pops his Sank and his purification, so no options for the young Cupid if he gets into trouble.
Not much difference between these two teams, though, when I look at it. I mean, both playing relatively similar. There is a lead for Most Wanted now, but it's been relatively even the whole game so far. 20 minutes in and being this even is a good staple to show how close these teams are.
Yes, it's a good staple to show how good these teams are, and it's honestly not a terrible spot if you're a SoaR fan, but that graph, just how sharply it went up with a single Gold Fury, that's got to be a little bit scary. Most Wanted, they've got 9 wins and only a single loss for a good reason.
I do say, though, when I was 3. Big taunt coming out there. Feather Step, though, in response from Chapo, who has to jump away immediately. Uzzy to the back, looking for Cloud to pin him down. Gets the Sanctuary out, but now Uzzy, isolated and alone, has to ult back to the tower safety of the tier 2. Forced out his soul from their own jungle here.
And they just can't get back on in. You can see Uzzy and Brochacho trying to make it happen, trying to secure this blue buff, but there's just too many blue phases.
Really, really good work from Most Wanted. Keeping the pressure on, isolating and trying to pick off targets. They're not going to find many kills here unless it's still they go overextended, but maybe not. Good circle of protection in response.
Absolutely. Prime ultimate coming out for the mid laner there. Cloud secures not only his own life, but his teammates' life. Let's ride along with the Isis real quick and see just how much HP he is. So he's got 191.
It was lower than that.
And you got to figure he healed up, maybe 100 in the time that we were out of it. So you're talking about double-digit HP.
Really important. Good ult from Aggro, though, to recognize he could potentially kill Cloud there.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for the fact ult was available for Cloud, yep, that was a dead Isis in the mid lane.
Man, such good players here, especially in the mid lane, specifically where I'm talking. The Aggro versus Cloud matchup has been a lot of fun to watch.
But from what I'm seeing here, SoaR's main focus is kill Cloud, kill Koiz over and over again. They've not really focused on Wolves, and they've not focused on Transonics whatsoever. XynoSurex just kept himself out of the equation on this Nemesis, playing very, very safe and only counter-initiating when he was required to. So the whole game plan from SoaR has been focus, Cloud mainly, ignore everything else. Meanwhile, Most Wanted, well, they're actually just responding to every situation and picking the target based on the situation every time.
And that's, I think, why. I think that right there is the key. I think you just broke it down. I think that's why Most Wanted is being so successful here, because they are ready to change their plan on the fly. They've got the audibles in mind, whereas SoaR, they sort of have a set plan, and if it doesn't go according to it, I don't know.
Well, the longer the game goes on, I'm kind of I want to say I'm favoring Most Wanted here. I mean, they've got a Ho-Yi for late game. They have an Isis late game that can two-shot and any carry, basically. And then you've got Wolves on that Vamana as well. Not just the Wolves and the Vamana, but the Nemesis, which will burst anything. Talk about burst mid lane. Chapo forced out again.
Yeah, taunted to a stun makes Chapo walk all the way away. Ultimate out of Wolves, and he might be able to put one down. As you see, Chapo still staying here, but he's got a little bit of a heal.
Big meditate that came up, but the taunt comes out, and Cloud going to follow up with some good wing gust damage. Not enough to find a kill on those tanky frontliners in Uzzy and Brochacho, though. So for now, nobody ends up dying. Look at the jungle, though. There's a hunter fight.
A little bit
Not
back
as much
and
as it
forth.
was. I was like, ooh.
No, it's here. Transonics stuck in the ultimate, can't get away. Trap is going to be strong, but Sang immediately popped as soon as he sees Chapo show up. Ultimate of his own comes on down, and 2 players from SoaR have to walk away.
Where's the support for Transonics there? Look at the response from Chapo. He was there like lightning getting over to that fight to support his teammate. If he would have got support a little bit early from Wolves here, Transonics, that could have been a potential double kill for Most Wanted to push on further there. But it was SoaR that came out big there, and Transonics had a very good job 2v1.
Yeah, Transonics did exactly what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to go ahead, make sure he doesn't die, make sure the opponent doesn't get the kills. And now, here's the rotation from the rest of SoaR. Uzzy now going to stop focusing on the Ho-Yi, now look towards Wolves, but Wolves will retreat, so no big deal.
Yeah, just a full disengage from both teams here, especially with the Gold Fury about to spawn. Nobody wants to get picked off just before this one.
Exactly.
This next Gold Fury, very important for both teams. If Most Wanted get this one as well, they're going to extend this lead and continue confirming it. If SoaR get it, we're back to relatively an even game, which it still is anyway.
Wolves now all the way on the left-hand side. I don't want to call it a full-on lane swap, but Wolves definitely tending to the garden that belongs to the hunter.
Mainly because Transonics was in base at the same time. It's like, oh, a minion wave here? Well, my tower's not being under attack now. I'll just take the farm before I move on. And Uzzy swings around too. Both support solos want to be over here anyway for the Gold Fury. They can hold onto that teleport. It makes it a little bit more useful for them as well.
Just turning things on their head here today, folks. 23-23 on the clock. 8-4, read the kills.
I'm feeling
SoaR trailing by only 3,000.
The way this game's going to go, I feel, is the next Gold Fury potentially is going to be one big team fight that's going to just swing this game completely in one team's favor. All it's going to take is like 4 members of a team dying, and immediately control of this game will go that way. That's how close this is right now.
I agree.
Just one big team fight.
And just looking at the pace of these games, this is how this works out. This is a relatively slow-paced game. There's 12 kills in total, obviously, but usually we do see a little bit more than that here in Smite.
Yeah.
So I think what happens here is
on.
Transonics gets into some trouble. XCynosurex is going to pop his ultimate and dash forward, but nothing really.
XCynosure's play there with the ultimate was so wise because Transonics was dead.
Yep.
He was pretty much dead there if XCynosure didn't do something to dissuade Keeks from going aggressive. Pull though onto Koiz here early on, but Koiz a lot tankier than he was in the early game. They're taking a lot to try and bring him down. That Spirit Ball from Clow again on the mark. Aggro results, not so much right now. He only hits 1 out of the 4.
And that's going to be rough. The mid lane survives one more time. There's a feather step from ElAggro. And the fight on the backside will be strong.
Look at Brochacho there. He goes to his backline, trying to protect his carries, keep them alive. Doesn't allow the pick for Wolves. But meanwhile, circle of protection down from Cloud. Looking for the burst. Not going to find it, though. Meditation out from SoaR as well to defend themselves. As under the tower is Wolves on that big baby Vamana. Takes a lot of free poke from the tower, though. And he's getting very low. He's got to be careful.
He's going to be totally fine. The tower will fall down. He'll eventually re-heal back on up. And that'll look golden. There's the ultimate of Ho-Yi. Trying to turn this around. You can see Most Wanted. They're not content with just the tower. They want blood. Jumping forward. Almost gets a hit. And he does. Transonics with 1 kill. Fighting up to Uzzy. Basic for basic. Can't handle it. Walks away. And Transonics still up front and center.
Was only 1 pick, but they get the tower as well, which is important for Most Wanted. So there's 500 gold in the coffers for the whole team. Not only that, the Gold Fury is still available. And instead of going for that, they invade. They take extra things from it before they have to contest this Gold Fury. When I looked at the map and I was looking at the situation of both teams, I favored Most Wanted just on base of tower damage already done. Tier 1 was already weak, but there's a taunt in mid again.
And there's a setup coming out from the best of them. Koiz now are the ones in trouble. And Aggro turns it around on him. Koiz takes a spill for the 9th kill, going the way of SoaR.
I was saying I'd like to see Koiz go aggressive a little bit more, find these taunts. That time I see him do exactly what we want him to do. Problem is his team were not ready. They weren't following him in close enough. Koiz ends up getting isolated, falls down, and relatively it's not his fault.
And also in these situations, you really, honestly, Hindu, you want your support to have purification. And that's just not the option.
I mean, it depends as well on what support you're playing and the situation you're in, but you're going to get focus as support anyway. That's a good thing if you do, because they're wasting damage elsewhere.
Exactly, and right now, Wolves trying to do what he can in the big baby form. Nothing really of consequence. Just trying to scare his teammates or perhaps his opponents away.
Yeah, this was more most wanted, just trying to defend the fact that they lost Koiz in that little skirmish in mid lane. He was still respawning. If they can get Athena back alive, then they can look to go aggressive. They already stole the red, and you can see Wolves cheekily going for the speed buff there, but Chapo's like, no, son, no.
Not at all. Not gonna happen.
Not today.
No. How about tomorrow?
Maybe. Maybe game 2.
Maybe game 2.
Maybe game 2.
Don't forget, we do have a 2-game set here, so this is just game 1 of 2.
And at the moment, I just want to see the player damage between the two, and it is clearly most wanted at the top. And Clow, for all the focus he's had on him in this game, 0 and 3, he's put out a hell of a lot of damage this game, considering those Spirit Balls have hit 2 people constantly. You saw the amount that he hit onto aggro early game. That helped them with the pressure early on. But then since then, still hitting Spirit Balls not only to set up kills, but also defend against kills.
And that's what Cloud does. He's been playing this god for... I mean, Cloud's Isis is...
better than his Hades, that's for sure.
It's top tier. It's very, very strong. Oh, watch out.
Good pull.
There's the pull over the wall. That's
Koiz.
fantastic. Into the fields of love. Heart bomb. Koiz taking everything to the dome, but he's able to dash away for the moment. No ultimate going his way. He'll live with 5 HP.
An interesting
Knock up.
fight. Big interesting fight because they've spent a lot on investing into Koiz, as did Most Wanted on keeping Koiz alive. Now though, it's SoaR out position and Big Baby coming through with an Athena coming back with full health one more time. Now the pressure's on SoaR.
Here's the follow-up. Keegs drops a heart bomb, dashes in the other direction. Clow, long-range spirit ball, finds a target, but no follow-up. Just takes out half of Cupid's HP. Transonics chases one into lane as well. And now SoaR with a whole bunch of damage being dealt out. Might want to look towards the Gold Fury, especially.
Not sure why SoaR committed back into this fight now, because now Chapo's dead. Everyone's relatively low. On both teams, I'd say Most Wanted a little bit healthier in terms of the health pools right now on the targets they want to. Only Transonics really fall down there. Chapo went back in. I guess they were trying to really find that pick on Transonics to stop the Gold Fury being done, but by doing that, they end up losing it.
Just bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Gold Fury is going to go the way of SoaR. They get the steal. Beautiful play coming out of aggro. Able to take it right away thanks to the Raijin ultimate.
What's the cost?
Might be in trouble now.
Sanctuary force on aggro as well. Juking his way out, but not juking out from xCynosurex. They'll pick up the kill. Transonics being run down by Uzzy, who's taking him on a merry goose chase and trying to recall. Clow, meanwhile, forced out one more time. As xCynosurex just keeping these frontliners busy from getting to the targets they want to find for the kills.
Completely worth there. No problem. I don't care if we lose 1. Frankly, if SoaR loses 2, I still think players that are rooting for this team still say worth, because now the teams are separated by 2,000 gold. Most Wanted get that. If Most Wanted get that Gold Fury, they're separated by like 5 or 7. It's just really rough. SoaR makes sure to mitigate what they've got coming towards them, take out the Gold Fury by way of a steal. Fantastic play going the way of the red team.
And the worst thing for SoaR there is they got the Gold Fury and they could have potentially won the fight off the back of it and found a couple more kills. They don't do that though. They could have gone for towers and maybe just chased out the opposition and found a tier 1 tower in response. So they don't get as big of a win as they could have done.
Right.
But Most Wanted were the ones that played it so well to get out of that, even though they did lose the Gold Fury.
Exactly. So, I mean, just good stuff coming on both sides of the coin, but I'm very impressed with what SoaR was able to do there, specifically regarding the steal.
We're getting it very late in this game, I feel, right now. It's 30 minutes in between these two teams. Respawns are going to get a little bit longer. With the Gold Fury being down, most teams are going to return their attention to the Fire Giant now. Obviously, with the Tier 1 tower and Tier 1 tower in the middle and the right-hand lane down for SoaR here, it does give positional advantage for Most Wanted to get a little bit deeper with their wards and control a little bit more of this jungle on the right-hand side.
Just shy of a half hour here. Teams resetting and regrouping. Basically, after that Gold Fury, man, SoaR's feeling good, but they realize, all right, we got the gold. We're back in this game. We're still here. And Most Wanted go, okay, we lost the gold. This is okay. We're still in this game. We're still here. Both teams are sort of reflecting on what just happened and are looking for the next opportunity, which is...
Like I said, Fire Giant. It should be the Fire Giant more often than not, but the Hunter is still trying to do battle, and you can see the rotation from both teams to this dual lane here, looking for extra pressure in the jungle. Not going to pin down Brochacho that easy, but Brochacho jumped in after getting ultimated, and I don't think he realized that was going to get ulted until he did. Already dead is Brochacho, 4v5 in favor of Most Wanted.
Knock up and pull onto the enemy Athena. There's the combination ultimate with the mid lane. Raijin just barrel it down, hits 3 of 4, and can't find the last hit onto the Athena. So he sees safe and sound as has met Koiz under the tower. Different story for Transonics. He takes a hard bomb.
Look at the right-hand lane. Look at the right-hand lane now. You can see the pressure from the tier 2 tower coming out from Wolves here. As xCynosurex stopping them, backing, delaying them. And actually, they left aggro. There was 4 guys. 3 team members were with him, trying to support him, but they still managed to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, Wolves is pushing to victory.
And they're not, and Most Wanted will not allow SoaR to go ahead and back.
Yep.
Cloud's going to look for one and gets the blink. That's a strong play coming out of Chapo. Beautiful, flashy, and fantastically functional. Well done by the jungler, but it won't stop the Wolves by himself. 2 players have to back from SoaR.
They do have to back, but I love what Cloud did as well. He dived the tower just to keep them, forced them to stay, but Chapo recognized that so well. Koiz going to go in and find the taunt. They're on a big burst damage of the ultimate coming out from xCynosurex now level 20. It's a lot of health that you end up disappearing off your health. Wolves is coming from the back though with the big baby form, and now this could spell destruction for SoaR.
Very important ultimate coming out right there. KeegsMate will go ahead and fall, taking the tower just for a little bit as the tier 1's being aggressed on is xCynosurex. He knows he's dead 6 ways till Sunday. He's just trying to maximize the damage his teammate can get to the tier 1. And in fact, so much maximization that he winds up picking up the kill.
I had a feeling there that Chapo was going to keep duking out Wolves for a few more seconds. That tower would have come into play a little bit more than it did. But that fight was a little bit crazy. I mean, SoaR went in deep on that left-hand side when Koiz goes in. Why not just take the tower? Why not just take the tower straight away and cause less of issues with it, and then look to try and aggress and continue putting the pressure on?
I mean, anything's really possible here. Everything's all even as far as the kills are concerned, but obviously Gold in a much different story. I think there was just a lot of different options on the table. The tier 1 tower in the dual lane does fall down. That's a very important position if you want to be on that side of things. So right now, again, you mentioned the Fire Giant before. I think it's more about the map control right now, the smaller objectives.
Fire Giant comes from map control as well, because map control, all tier 1 towers are now down, tier 2 tower right as well. The only defensive point SoaR have in their own jungle to come from and to fall back to is that tier 2 tower in mid, which means that whole right-hand side of the map is technically open for Most Wanted to set traps, bait out, and if they get in trouble themselves, they're starting positions at tier 1 towers.
That's very true. And I think that, you know what, Hinderman, I see your side of it. And I think it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, it should, right?
Oh.
It's only look at a map and be like, yeah, this team has more towers. GG. But the real depth of it is the reason why people take those towers. But that experience is not going to matter as much going forward now. It is 9,000, but look at the levels of these teams. It's only ElAggro that's behind at the moment, realistically. Don't worry about supports. It's just the difference between Chapo and xCynosurex in terms of experience.
You know, I'm looking at this SoaR squad. They're down right now, and honestly, these slash lines, they look so much different from the SoaR that we used to know. You basically used to see tons of kills on Chapo, tons of kills on aggro, and then a little bit here and there distributed. Well, very much more even than we're used to seeing.
What I'm seeing is Chapo going very aggressive, but he's not had the same follow-up that I've seen previously from him, as well as aggro. His ultimates have been good, but I think he's been trying to do too much with some of these ultimates. I see him looking for angles to hit 2 or 3 targets instead of just taking the priority one. Take the one that was free. He's trying to hit that as well as the ones behind it, and by doing that, he's missing the original shots, which is he's just outplaying himself a little bit, which is forcing SoaR in a bit of an awkward position.
I think we'll see more of those connect as time goes on with respects to what aggro's able to do on the Raijin. As I said before, this is definitely not a character that we see him play all the time, but the pull over the wall, fantastic trap. Koiz still going to be fine, and now SoaR going to be sandwiched by beautiful positioning coming out of M-Dubs.
But the Hunters are online. Look how much damage Transonics just did to Uzzy, forcing him back again. And when Hunters feel themselves like this, they'll push forward. They'll lead from the front. They've got 2 in front of him as well. Keep with Transonics because he will start doing a lot of damage here.
And this play right here, it's all about positioning. This entire play, positioning over there by the Gold Fury. Raijin stuck by himself, will blink forward, but there's the ultimate followed up by the Hunter. A lot of damage going on to aggro. Doesn't look like there's going to be a kill until the double taunt, stun. Cloud finishes it up. ElAggro falls to the ground. And big point there, Hindu Man. It has nothing to do with what happened in this lane. It was all about when you saw the retreat coming out from SoaR, Most Wanted came from the bottom and the top, sandwiched down, positioning.
And you could just see, one thing to note as well, I asked to follow Transonics for the simple reason, when a Hunter gets full build, they come online. They will start, their mouth will start running immediately. Because they're like, guys, I'm huge. Let's go, because I can kill everybody. And the team follows him. And the enemy team, what do you do against it? You have to all in that Hunter straight away. Otherwise, he's just going to put on a show just alongside the rest of his team.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to this point as a Hunter, it's pretty much just like, as a hunter, you don't really need the brains, right? When you're at this point in the stage of the game as a hunter, if all you can say is your name, that's totally fine. Just go, me Transonics, me kill. And then you just point me towards the horde of orcs. Just point me towards it, and I will just unleash all of my damage. And that's pretty much what M-Dubs does.
Now, what Most Wanted did there as well, which was very key, they got a tier 2 tower and 2 phoenixes off that. So this game's back has been broken now in favor of Most Wanted. It's up to SoaR to try and mend that back as quick as possible and try and actually regen those phoenixes and as well as keep hold of the fire giant, because if they lose the fire giant, it's pretty much done.
So after a fantastic push up the mid lane from a single team fight win, basically off of the result of superior flanks coming out, Most Wanted extend their lead up to 10,000 gold. SoaR on the back foot, but at this point in time, SoaR can fight into this. The fire giant is already started, and SoaR have to make their move immediately.
Well, bro, Chacho's going to get bursted, and they've got to be very careful of Xynosurex. Xynosurex will burst you heavily. You're going to shred half your protections immediately when he hits you with that ultimate. And even if you're a tank, you're a squishy now. You've still got to deal with hunters. Look at Transonics, though. He's going a little bit too deep here, but SoaR at the same time is Chapo looking for kills.
Uzzy finds a lot of damage, but Clow finds the most, and Chapo goes down. Raijin on the left side being aggressed on by Transonics, finds over the wall, launches over the ultimate, not a big deal, but Wolves takes out KeegsMate. 3 dead on the side of SoaR. Everyone alive and ready to dance on the side of Most Wanted.
That was just the amount of burst damage available there for Most Wanted more often than not. They didn't do a very good job, Most Wanted, of peeling. Like, they were all at the fire giant, and Chacho managed to walk all the way up and go, hey guys, how's it going? But then he got turned on. You know, the burst was there. They had all their armors back up, and it worked out well. They need to be careful going forward that they don't do that too much, though, because some teams will exploit that.
Exactly. I gave SoaR a lot of credit for playing as a unit, for playing as a team, and not being this individual squad that we used to see them as. When they have their backs against the wall, at least in this situation, Hinduman, it seems like SoaR resort back to that individual play. They step away from the team play and they step back into that looking for the hero ball gameplay, which just did not work out here. Dorchacha walks into the mess by himself, falls down, and from that single misplay, you're able to see Most Wanted burst him down, burst down the fire giant, turn around with the team fight, and then obviously take the Titan for game number 1.
Really, really good work from Most Wanted. And now they're into game